The Valachi Papers, The Education of Joe Cago. Before 1963, the government didn't even believe the Mafia existed. They thought it was a myth, until Joe Valachi blew the doors off the thing of ours. This is the man who survived a knife to the heart, outran the bloodiest gang war in New York history, and sat at the table with the legendary Lucky Luciano. From secret rituals with burning paper to the night he beat a man to death with a pipe in federal prison, this isn't just a mob story. This is the confession that changed the underworld forever. This is the life of Joe Cago. Chapter 1, The Making of a Driver. The story of Joseph Valachi begins not with a title but with a nickname, Joe Cago. Growing up in the rough streets of New York, he earned the name for his skill in building makeshift scooters from wooden crates. His early criminal career was marked by a dangerous error, joining an Irish gang. This betrayal of his heritage earned him a knife wound to the heart while in prison, a 38-stitch message from the Italian underworld. Upon his release, Valachi got the message and officially joined the Mafia, starting his career as a trusted driver. Chapter 2, The Pelham Parkway Hit. Valachi's rise coincided with the Castellammarese War, a bloody power struggle between Joe the Boss Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano. Valachi played a crucial role by renting an apartment overlooking the home of Stephen Ferrigno, one of Masseria's top lieutenants. From this vantage point, an assassin known as Buster from Chicago gunned down Ferrigno and Al Mineo. While Masseria escaped, Valachi was rewarded for his loyalty and participation. He was made a full member of the secret society. Chapter 3, The Blood and the Fire. The ritual of initiation was steeped in old world tradition. Valachi describes a secretive trip to a colonial house in the country, where he met Salvatore Maranzano. Surrounded by 40 high-ranking mobsters, Valachi was led to a table bearing a gun and a dagger. The oath? Maranzano pricked Valachi's finger, spilling blood to symbolize a life and death commitment. The fire? Valachi held a burning piece of paper, swearing, "This is the way I will burn if I betray the secret of this Cosa Nostra." The rules. 2 laws were absolute: never betray the secret, and never violate another member's wife. Death was the only penalty for both. Chapter 4, The Fall of Joe the Boss. By 1931, the tide had turned against Joe Masseria. 2 of his most trusted aides, Lucky Luciano and Vito Genovese, secretly defected to Maranzano's side. In a legendary betrayal, Luciano invited Masseria to a final meal at Scarpato's restaurant in Coney Island. While Luciano excused himself to the restroom, gunmen entered and executed Joe the Boss. With Masseria dead, Salvatore Maranzano became the capo di tutti capi, the boss of all bosses. Chapter 5, The New Table of Organization. Maranzano convened a massive meeting of 500 men in a Bronx hall, decorated with religious icons to mask the gathering as a holy society. Here, he laid out the blueprint for the modern mafia that exists to this day. The 5 families. New York was divided into 5 distinct territories. The hierarchy. Each family was assigned a boss, underboss, lieutenants, capos, and soldiers. The chain of command. Soldiers were forbidden from approaching the boss directly. They had to work through their lieutenants. Chapter 6, The Night of the Iron Pipes. Maranzano's reign lasted only 6 months. His desire for absolute control and his plan to eliminate Luciano and Genovese backfired. On September 10, 1931, 4 men posing as police detectives entered Maranzano's Park Avenue office. Despite his tough resistance, the old world chieftain was shot and stabbed to death. This was part of a nationwide purge, the night of the Sicilian Vespers, where the younger generation, led by Luciano, eliminated the mustache Petes, old-school bosses, to take total control. Chapter 7, The Slot Machine King. Under the new leadership of Lucky Luciano, Valachi transitioned from a wartime soldier to a profitable racketeer. Luciano abolished the Boss of Bosses title and fostered cooperation with non-Italian criminals like Meyer Lansky. Valachi, now partnered with Bobby Doyle, was granted the right to run 20 slot machines in East Harlem. Protected by the influence of Frank Costello, these protected machines brought in a staggering $2,500 a week. Chapter 8, Romeo and the Mob. Despite the violence of his profession, Valachi sought a traditional life. He fell in love with Mildred Reyna, the daughter of a murdered boss. Their romance was a mob version of Romeo and Juliet, facing fierce opposition from Mildred's Sicilian family. It took the personal intervention of Vito Genovese, who threatened Mildred's uncles and offered to be Valachi's best man, to seal the union. Their 1932 wedding was a massive affair, attended by the elite of the criminal underworld, from Albert Anastasia to Carlo Gambino. Chapter 9, The Little Apples Contract. The honeymoon was short-lived. Just months after his wedding, Valachi was handed a contract to kill a man known as Little Apples, Michael Regione. As a soldier, Valachi received no extra pay. It was simply a duty. He spent days befriending the victim in a coffee shop before luring him into a tenement hallway on the pretext of a dice game. As Valachi walked away, his accomplices fired the fatal shots. Valachi went straight home to his wife, maintaining the dual life of a suburban husband and a cold-blooded enforcer. Chapter 10. The Omerta is broken. The story ends where history remembers Valachi most vividly. After decades of service, a drug conviction in 1960 landed him in prison with his former boss, Vito Genovese. Paranoia and the fear of a kiss of death led Valachi to kill a fellow inmate he mistook for an assassin. To save himself from the death penalty, Valachi did the unthinkable. He broke the code of Omerta. In 1963, his televised testimony before the McClellan Committee revealed the name Cosa Nostra to the world, forever shattering the Mafia's veil of silence.